Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Lindsay Bottoms and I'm a reader at the University of Hertfordshire, and I'm here to give you a 20-minute or thereabouts workout that you can do with inflammatory bowel disease. As previously stated in one of my videos, there is no exact guidelines that are there for people with inflammatory bowel disease. This is just my opinion. This is just some examples of exercises that I might do. I do apologise for some of the form that you'll find that I'm doing in the videos. I'm not a fitness instructor, I'm an exercise physiologist, and I'm definitely not the most flexible of people. Some of the exercises can be modified. So if you've got a stoma or you recently had surgery and you're finding there's pressure around the area where you've had the surgery or you've got the stoma, please stop. You could potentially modify the exercises. So there's the press up that I have within the video. I've modified it where I've got my knees on the floor, but actually if you have a stoma, you could actually go and do a box press up where you've got like you've got your legs on the floor and your hands on the floor. You could do it that way. There is a side plank, and if you're uncomfortable, you could roll up a towel and you could place that under your side. So there are ways to modify what I'm presenting to you today. So do be careful, but hopefully you'll enjoy the workout, and good luck. Hi, I've been asked to answer some questions relating to exercise. So I thought I'd try and do them individually here. But before I try and answer them, what I really want to make sure you're aware of, unfortunately, there's no specific exercise guidelines for people with inflammatory bowel disease. So what I'm about to say is my opinions, and it's sort of what I've learned from my experience and to a certain extent, or a little bit from the research that I've done. And the first question is, how quickly can I get back to pre-surgery or flare fitness levels? And I think this is a difficult question to answer, and it's going to be different from person to person. You are going to have to consider rehabilitation. I do think it depends how severe the surgery was, depends how much of a bowel resection you've had. So it is a difficult one to answer, and only you can really understand your body. I would seek some advice when it comes to getting yourself back. You don't want to overdo it, because otherwise that can prolong your recovery. If you've had major surgery, you don't want to cause yourself a hernia. But you can exercise, and we don't want to limit you from doing exercise, but it does take a little bit of rehabilitation time. So it's probably gently going back into exercise, doing some gentle walking, building that up, and then slowly but surely you'll feel yourself getting stronger, and you'll be able to listen to your body. Another question someone's asked is around, I have no energy, but I want to keep active. What can I try? The thing about exercise is often we feel very tired, and that can be a barrier to doing exercise. But actually, if we can overcome that, doing the exercise can give us more energy and actually make us feel less tired. It's very hard to sometimes get your head around that, but actually being active will reduce fatigue. And the research studies now are starting to show that as well. So people are showing that with exercise, IBD fatigue is actually slightly less than without exercise. So it's trying to overcome that when you're doing your exercise. I often find that if you're tired before, and actually sometimes then when you're doing the exercise, you don't feel quite as tired. And then you can continue with it. But if you're really tired, and then when you're doing the exercise and you're really struggling, then it's probably best to listen to your body and actually stop exercising then. It's a very difficult thing to understand, but you do really need to listen to your body. Your body is telling you stuff. But I do think with fatigue, it's worth trying to do the exercise and then seeing how you feel as you do it. I've been asked a question, I have a stoma. Can exercising damage the surgery area or stoma itself? What should I avoid doing? Now, I think, again, if you've got a stoma, you are able to exercise. There is no limitations in that regards, but you do need to consider a rehabilitation phase to try and build yourself up to be able to do the exercise. And sometimes you might need to modify the movement that you're doing just to ensure that you're not causing damage. But essentially, you can do exercise with a stoma. So you're not to feel limited by it. I think that's really important. It does depend how, when you're doing the exercise, you want to kind of feel whether you've got any bulging or pressure with the area. If you are, then you are at risk of having a hernia. That is the biggest problem that you're going to have if you're trying to exercise with a stoma. So if you're feeling any of those sort of symptoms, you are really best to change what you're doing, or reduce the intensity, or change the position that you're doing the exercise. And then hopefully you can continue doing it and build up the area. But it's really, again, listening to your body to ensure that you're not causing yourself any damage. When you have a stoma, the main exercises that you need to avoid is a lot to do with the core. It's not saying that you can't do core exercises. You might just need to modify the movements, but things like a plank or specific sit-ups, they're going to put a lot of pressure on the area where the stoma is attached to the body. So if you feel any bulging or any pressure in that area, I'd stop the exercise that you're doing and either make modifications so you can carry on, or stop that exercise in particular. But majority of exercise you can do without a problem. Another question that I've been asked is, recovery has left me feeling very weak. How do I gradually build up my strength? And I think this is with any exercise. So if you're starting out from scratch, so you've never done exercise before, or you've had surgery, or you're recovering from a flare-up, it's about gradually bringing in the exercise. What you don't want to do is go out all heavy and overtrain initially and cause fatigue from overtraining or cause other problems within your body. So what you want to do essentially is start off with a short duration of exercise at a lower intensity and gradually increase that duration and also increase the intensity of that exercise. So that's the best way that you're going to be able to recover and build up your strength. The final question that I've been asked is, being ill has impacted my confidence and trust in my own body. How do I get that back? This is something I can relate to very much. So when I had my surgery in 2012, I was really wanting to come back with my fencing. I was trying to qualify for our Commonwealth Fencing Championships. And I really found that this surgery had made me feel a lot more tired. I felt that my fitness levels were definitely a lot lower, and I needed to work out what I was capable. So I started out in my training. I gradually introduced back the exercise and gradually built it up. But it did take time to get the confidence. But the only way you can do that is just keep trying the exercise, keep going. And as you see that your progression or your fitness levels improve, your confidence in your body improves alongside it. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Lindsay Bottoms and I'm a reader in exercise and health physiology at the University of Hertfordshire. I've also had Crohn's disease for 26 years. I got diagnosed in 1994. And I've also been, I've been very lucky to have been an international fencer. So I've managed to fence all around the world competing. And that was actually at a time when I was at my most ill with my Crohn's disease. What I'm going to talk to you today, though, is about the benefits of doing exercise. And I think this is a really important time to look at how exercise can be beneficial for our health. There are many benefits to doing physical activity, not just in terms for our disease, but also just for general health. One of the biggest benefits, and I think it's very crucial at the moment, is it generally improves our overall mental health. Unfortunately, if you've got a chronic disease such as inflammatory bowel disease, we're actually more likely to suffer from symptoms of depression. And actually being physically active can actually reduce symptoms of depression. So generally it improves our overall our mental health. It can increase our feelings of well-being. So generally we feel just generally better and a bit happier. It can improve our bone mineral density, because obviously with inflammatory bowel disease, absorption is a problem, and often people suffer from low bone mineral density. And there has been research now showing that if exercises are long enough, done over a long enough period, so it would have to be done over quite a few months, but it can improve bone mineral density. It increases our resilience. So again, trying to face difficulties in life, and resilience is therefore really important in diseases like inflammatory bowel disease, and also at a time like now where we have a pandemic. Having that, being able to fight or being able to deal with what's in front of us is vitally important. There's always improvements in cardiovascular health, so obviously it can help us reduce body weight. It can help improve our functioning of our hearts. All these things are generally beneficial to anyone, regardless of whether they've got inflammatory bowel disease. Another thing is it actually can boost our immune system and actually help us fight infections. And again, obviously we have an autoimmune disease, and actually improving the functioning of our immune system could help us fight off other other diseases. And again, a time where we're trying to fight from things like COVID-19, it is useful to have a boosted immune system. And the thing that I'm really interested in, though, is looking at inflammation. Now, exercise or physical activity has been shown to reduce inflammation in many diseases. It's not been looked at particularly within inflammatory bowel disease, but it has been shown to reduce inflammation in things like obesity and depression, Alzheimer's. So there are other ways that other illnesses where exercise has been shown to be beneficial in terms of this inflammation. And I think this is really important in terms of the fact that we have an inflammatory condition. But further research needs to be done whether it's beneficial in that sense. But definitely there is that potential for having an impact. So as you can see, there are a variety of ways that exercise can be beneficial, physical activity can be beneficial. And so it is really important that we get out there and do stuff. I realise we often face many barriers compared to other people. We do have issues around the toilet. We do have pain, or often suffer from pain. We often suffer from fatigue. And all these things do often prevent us from wanting to do exercise. But actually, if we can get ourselves over that hurdle, if we can overcome some of these barriers, especially at the moment where we've got home-based exercise, it does reduce that problem of needing finding a toilet. There are ways that we can still try and do exercise and help ourselves and help our overall well-being.